Hello again, good night. I'm Ramon Johnson, and this is Chess Initiative, right? And we're going to be looking at a very important thing today, uh, sacrificing. no, today for my analytical training, I opened the book, The Art of Sacrifice by Rudolf Spielmann, right? And in this book, he talks about something very important in chess, sacrificing. At some point in chess, when you are attacking your opponent, you will give up material to carry out your attack, right? If you have done any puzzles in the world or any tactics book, you know that there's nothing more beautiful than sacking a bishop or the double bishop sack or sacking a queen and bam, 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 giving checkmate or getting more material than you sacrifice. But also, if you are a positional player, there's nothing more beautiful than giving up a rook uh, for a knight in terms of, like in the Sicilian, where you take the knight on c3 and you get to take the e4 pawn and have pressure on the c file. And so ideas with positional sacrifices. So this first game has in a positional sacrifice, right? So this is Rudolf Spielmann versus Verkov or something. You will see the name on the screen, but right now I'm very bad with names. Yeah. All right, so let's start. This game was very interesting. The Rudolph is white, so let me rotate the board 1 second, and it is rotated. All right, let's go. Hajime. So the game starts with d4. The opening that will be played is one of the openings that I play a lot. It is the Slav defense. Yes, 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 yes. Hold on. All right, ready. d5, c4, c6, and this is what symbolizes the Slav, the c6 move, right? If e6 is played instead of c6, then we have the Queen's Gambit decline variation, right? And if the pawn is taken, we have the Queen's Gambit accepted. All right, so let's continue. Knight comes out, knight comes out. All natural developing moves. Each side is looking to get out their pieces. Knight goes to c3, and this is what signifies the Slav, right? Now, if black was to play e6, we would have the semi-Slav, where we have that triangle pawn structure. But when he takes on c4 after the two knights have come out, that's when we have a Slav, right? And from here, the natural follow-ups for white, he will have the main lines. Pawn to a4, this looks to stop the b5 pawn push. He also has the aggressive e4, and he also has somewhat of e3. So those are three main lines. Another line is knight to e5, but I digress. So let's continue. A4 is the line that is chosen in this game. One of the things about A4, as I said, stops this B4 move, but what it does is that it gives up the dark squares, right, on the queen side. So the bishop might look to come and rest on B4, or the knight might look to get in on B4, right? And I normally put the bishop on B4 because it helps my king to castle. So the normal move here, black is actually playing very good so far. He's playing standard opening moves. E3 is played. This normally leads to the queen into a variation of the Slav, where white looks to push in the center with e4 after maybe supporting the d4 pawn. But let's see what happens. Knight to a6, bishop takes c4, and knight to b4. Now, I don't like this opening line. I don't like this. I believe it wastes time, right? A very important thing in chess is time. We have space, we have time, we have a lot of other elements of the game. But time is a very important thing, especially in the opening. You don't want to waste time moving the same pieces over and over. So knight to a6, bishop takes c4, knight again. If we look at white's position, white only moved each thing one time. while we have moved our pawn 2 times, and we move this knight 2 times. So if you're looking at how much moves we're actually spending instead of doing what we should do, which is to develop our king side pieces and get our king castle, then we might be in some trouble. So another line, instead of playing knight to a6, we could continue with e6, bishop takes, and we can continue with bishop to b4, right? This is the natural move, bishop to b4. As I said, putting pressure on this knight. And one of the thing about putting pressure on this knight is that later on, when white wants to play e4, this knight will have pressure on the knight. We're never really looking to take the knight in the Slav, really, but we're just looking to apply pressure just in case you want to push on e4. So you have some gambit lines or white tap the e4 pawn by pushing it, but all of that is theory, and let's not go down that road, right? So that's not what was played in the game. The line that was played in the game was knight to a6, bishop takes, knight to b4, white castles. So if we look, as we said, white didn't waste any time at the opening. This might be the only move that we say didn't develop anything, but it had an idea of restriction. So if you're not developing anything in the opening, many times people are in the game of chess, you'll do a restrictive move. So let's continue. e6, queen t2. As I said, this variation looks to play e4, but many times this d4 point might be weak. So black has some ideas after that. Sometimes the rook will come to d1 to support this pawn, or sometimes we will reroute the bishop, to d3, but not in this variation because the knight is on b4, so the knight will take off the bishop if it goes to d3, right? But let's continue. Knight to e4. This move is incorrect. I don't like this move. So as we see, black move this knight 1, 2. In the Slav, we already took the pawn, so we move this pawn 1, 2, and now we're moving this knight again, and we still haven't brought out our bishop and castled our king. So we are wasting time, right? And an aggressive player loves to see when people waste time because they will find how to exploit such a thing. So the things that originate in this game are about to take place in this game is really because of black's waste of time. So it's not because black is like white is some super creative genius or something. Knight e5, a very aggressive move with very aggressive ideas. Bishop to d6, and this is where it gets interesting. Who can tell me what white plays? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you said it, you are correct. He takes the f7 pawn. Oh my God, he just took the f7 pawn. Some people might be sitting there and be like, wait, that's a piece, right? That's a piece, right? That's a piece. And their mind starts to say, okay, I'm better because I have a piece, right? And those people who are like to attack will look and say, yeah, that's a piece right now, but I bet I'm gonna get back something. So this is what a positional sack is all about, guys. The main theme of this. You do positional sack many times, not to get back something immediate as in the next move, but couple moves down the line, you will get back what we Jamaicans call comp, right? Or compensation. You need your comp, you need your compensation. And white will get back his compensation. He will get it back in terms of time, in terms of the king activity, sorry, not king activity, but the king placement, right? The king safety is a big problem for black in this sacrifice line because you won't be able to castle. There will also be ideas because your king will now be in line with this pawn. That means that this might be in a little pin. That means that this knight might come under attack because it's not really protected. But let's see what happens, right? king takes, and queen to f3, attacking this and attacking this. Now, I didn't trust this line in terms of where did the game go? What am I in right now? I think this was the puzzle that I did today. 1 second. Where did my game go? I think chess praise just screwed me. Oh, here we are. All right, so let's go back to the position. That was like a glitch in the system a while ago. I was like, what was that? You know, I felt like somebody hacked my computer. Right, so queen to f3, and we are now attacking the knight, the bishop. The bishop is pinned, and it is in serious trouble, right? Serious trouble. Now, the variation that I picked for this, when I analyze this position, if you want to take the time to pause it and analyze it, uh, right here, I saw a variation that I could play after I took the knight, right? After I took the knight and queen to f3, I wanted to play bishop takes check, king takes, and then I wanted to play knight back to d6, bishop back to b3, queen check, king goes here, and I move my king to e8, right? Sorry, e7. Now, I didn't want to play this move, queen to g4, even though that's an idea, because I feel that I'm simplifying in this game, and I don't think I am better or anything. White has the bishop here and these nice pawns. I still have a weakness. My king is weirdly placed. The rooks haven't come into the game yet. They need files, and my king is currently on a file. This knight is on the file. So in order to organize my pieces, it's going to take a lot of time. And I don't really feel that I have an advantage in this position, right? I don't feel I have an advantage in that position. But the position where you play king to e7 though, right here, where you play bishop takes, king takes, knight back to d6, bishop b3, queen check, king here, and a move like king to e7. I think I'm fine after maybe a pawn push here. I can't play here because I'm losing something. Oh, where am I going to put this? No. Am I in trouble? Oh no. Queen to f6. Whoo! Lucky, lucky, lucky. Chicken Kentucky. Did I have that square, by the way? What happens if he plays e4? Oh, I can just take this. And if he takes this, I win the queen. And if he takes my queen, I take this. And if he takes, I take. Okay. All right. So that was a line that I saw that we could play instead. This bishop takes h2 line. But I think he played the worst line that you could possibly play. My line gave equality. White would still be a little bit better and have the initiative. But this line, I believe this is a blunder. G6. You never want to, this is something, you never want to lock up your bishop. Not locking up the bishop behind the pawn chain is bad enough, like in the French and in the Stonewall, which practical play has shown that, people who play those things many times survive, annoyingly survive. But when your bishop is out and you're locking it up with something like this is like some amateur move right here, because this might run into some serious problems in the future, right? Being trapped and all. So black goes for the same idea that I showed after knight takes, because we're attacking the knight twice and we want to get back our sacrifice. So you're always looking to get back what you sacrificed, but you're looking to get it back with interest. So we're gonna take right here. The bishop takes on h2. So he sees the variation where you capture this knight in the end, but this variation actually loses because he played the move g6. Because in the line, after some about a good 30 minutes of analysis, I realized that this line was losing for white. And then after I saw the game, Queen T3, very powerful move. The queen has ideas of coming down here. We have ideas of playing F3. It's white has the initiative. Rook to E8. It looks to stop queen ideas of coming here. But as we see, this is not looking good. The queen is kind of running out of squares to go. So this is not optimal. Bishop to d3. This has ideas of trapping the queen, guys. You know, this queen is looking very shaky right now. You know, very shaky, right? So the game continues. Queen to c2. Now we are attacking this and this, but bishop to c3. We're now blocking out the attack on this, and we're gonna soon play rook over and attack the queen, then play f3. Knight goes back to d5. And now we have ideas of trapping the queen. G5. Another move that could be considered here was also queen to G4 to get the queen out of this trap state. But G5, pawn push, queen takes. So we can see that he didn't calculate out the entire line, because in the end, he will get forked, right? And he loses a piece. This is a forced variation, so he ends up losing a piece either way because of the weird placement of the queen, the weird placement of the bishop, the knight and the bishop being on these two parallel squares. Is this parallel or adjacent? I didn't do good in maths in school, right? And then he's gonna be losing some material, right? So that was the game, and his opponent resigned right here. But what can we learn from the game though, or what I learned from the game, is that we don't want to waste time in the opening. We don't want to waste time in the opening. Let's not move the same piece twice and move another piece twice and not develop our king side, right? And get our king out of the center, right? I think Tal is the one that says if his opponent's king is in the center, he has chances to mate him, you know. So try and get your king castle. Right here, this idea right here of the positional sacrifice, I think the book says that we need to evaluate it and make sure that it is, you know what you're getting into, as in it's good. And right here, we can see that this is a sound sacrifice. One of the reasons it's sound is because we have this double attack, right? There's going to be an attack on the knight when the queen comes to f3 and an attack on the bishop. And normally when you attack things twice, plus the king is in this tactical line and this tactical line. So all these tactical elements coming together gives white the opportunity to do a sacrifice like knight takes f7, which is perfectly sound because he'll be getting back his material. So this is a very important theme, the sacrifice on f7 when your opponent is wasting time and his pieces are weirdly coordinated because of the attack, the pin, everything is in a pin. Oh my God, right? So that was the game. But as we saw that even in this game, another important thing, even when you think that you might be losing or somebody just sacrificed on you and you're like shocked out of this world, take your time, take a breath. If you need to, you know, take a little walk, clear your head, come back to the board. Um, you'll figure out a variation that going forward is not very bad. because right here we found the resourceful bishop takes h2 first. King takes, we're not blocking in our bishop, right? With this g6 idea that he went for. Knight back to d6. So all of this can be found because I found this variation on my own in my analysis. And when I was verifying all my variations with the engine, this was the top variation on the engine, surprisingly. This is the line it picked first to play for black, and the eval led to about 0.72 or something, right? But as I said, you must use engines to verify your thinking, but not to tell you what to think, right? So this is a game. Hope you learned something. Positional sacrifice. Go and read that book, The Art of Sacrifice by Rudolf Spielmann. It will impact your chess in a good way. And I hope you learned something from the Slav opening theory. And if you do love the Slav opening, you can contact me. I know some stuff. I know some stuff that I don't tell anybody because I'm hiding it. All right. So remember, I won 3 Slav games from my last tournament um, against relatively strong players. All right. So goodbye. That's it. This is Chess Initiative. Good day. All right.